we'll move
on
on
that
to
note,
we'll move on to the next game. Mike, I am praying for a Cleveland victory on Sunday. The Cleveland Browns are going to Washington, taking on the Washington Commanders. 1-3 Cleveland Browns taking on the 3-1 Washington Commanders.
Yep.
Everyone's calling Jaden the next CJ Stroud. This was my concern, Pat. This is what I was saying. It's gonna anger me all year, but time will tell. He has not played great defenses. Let's be honest here. Arizona is not a great defense. Cincinnati is not a great defense. But Jaden Daniels has looked elite. He has the highest completion rate through 4 games than anyone in NFL history. Anyone. So, got to give credit where credit is due. And Dan Quinn, that team. I mean, we said it at the beginning of the season. They made it a point to draft and sign all these team captains, all these guys that you want in your locker room to build a winning culture in that locker room. It seems to be paying off. I want to talk about Cleveland a little bit, kind of piggybacking off of the Joe Flacco game. It sounds like he said after that game he never received a job offer from the Cleveland Browns for this season. Wanted to get your take on that eventually, Mike. A lot of issues with Cleveland, but I'll tell you what, Deshaun Watson was not to blame this weekend.
Nope.
Not in
No,
my
he was
opinion.
not.
He put everything on the line. In my opinion, he wanted to win more than anybody. Amari Cooper with a tough drop.
Yep.
DeWan
Andy, just an
Yes.
egregious holding call. Egregious holding call.
Oh my God. I almost broke my TV when I saw that play. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Last week's loss was not on Deshaun Watson at all. I think there was a lot of questions. I mean, I'm something. Amari Cooper is the number 1 wide receiver that we paid to be the guy, and there's been so much inconsistency. We've gotten so many injuries on the offensive line.
Yep. Polchich, another one.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean exactly. I mean Jedrick Wills, Teller. It's not. Deshaun Watson got signed to that contract because he is a quarterback and not a running back. To reiterate what he said at the press conference, there needs to be more protection. We're not seeing. There has been little to no production out of Jerome Ford, and I wish. You know how much better Baker Mayfield played when he had Nick Chubb as the running back, when you have an efficient change of pace back, when you have weapons on the outside. The injury to Njoku has hurt because he has been one of Deshaun Watson's favorite targets since he came to Cleveland. They are favored, or I'm sorry, they are 3-point underdogs against the Commanders. Right now, I have a lot of questions about our secondary, who have been the pride and joy of the defense. I still think we're okay up front. We've been able to get pressure. You know, we've been getting beat in the air, and it's been very frustrating. I know you can look at Deshaun Watson's output. I think what's happening with Amari Cooper, and does he want to leave? You know, the unfortunate scenario is when things go bad in Cleveland, you come there to win football games. You're not there because this is. I mean, what Joakim Noah say? Cleveland's Cleveland. Like, I mean, there when the production is not there, there's a lot of fingers being pointed at Kevin Stefanski. I think unfairly, I mean, Deshaun Watson has to play better. He started to play better last week. You know, he's got to cut down on the turnovers, but he's also being pushed out of the pocket so much. And we saw it 2 weeks ago. He has guys wide open that are just missing it by less than a foot. The margin of error is right there. I think we can get right because of the questions on the Commander's side of the ball. But I don't know. I'll take I'll take
Come
him
on.
plus. I'll take him +3. I think we're going to be fine. I think the defense steps up. There's a lot of questions on the offensive side of the ball, especially with the offensive line. I would like to maybe Njoku maybe trending towards playing this week, which is going to be a major step in the right direction. You know, instead of we don't even have Harrison Bryant anymore. You know, I mean, he has been a focal point of the offense. I think the way you win this game is the pass attack has to come out. You have to pepper Amari Cooper with targets. You have to pepper David Njoku with targets, and the offensive line has to stand up when you're trying to move the ball down the field with Jerome Ford, especially against how weak of a pass rush that Washington has. But are we going to be able to stop Jaden Daniels? I don't know. I like the over, and I like the Browns because I have no choice.
Because you literally like the Browns. No, but we need to acknowledge here when we're talking about Jaden Daniels that, and we could talk about I'll just leave it at this. We talk about the Caleb versus Jaden Daniels comparisons that are all getting made around. Caleb Williams is being asked to take on so much, all of it at once in this offense. He's checking audibling out of calls. He's seeing what the defense has to give him, dealing with Shane Waldron's weird-ass play call and assessing it and, having to really play the same game that a experienced veteran quarterback has. Jaden Daniels, let me drill this stat in. Jaden Daniels has started his first down. On first down, their Commanders are 80% screens or run plays, and they've been able to move the ball. You telling me if that's a sustainable way of playing football throughout an entire NFL season when teams are making adjustments, when teams are going to be keying in on those screen and run plays. When you are doing it that consistently on first down, they're getting away with it now, as you said, against defenses that everybody knows aren't very good. I mean, everybody knows that it's pretty clear that the Bengals defense, I watched it for myself, is not very good. And they have serious questions. They do not have a pass rush. Trey Hendrickson is on his own with that. So, yeah, that Jaden Daniels was able to have a great game, taking what the defense gave to him, and I think Cliff Kingsbury has set him up to do that. But there's going to be an adjustment period that happens that is going to be harsh for Jaden Daniels unless they're able to become less predictable on first down. Because I think, Mike, maybe I'm more confident than the Browns than you are in this game. I think that this is going to be a huge challenge for Jaden Daniels going up against the Browns defense. And I think that for the Browns on offense, as you said, Mike, the Commanders aren't a great pass rushing team. If there were a game where for Deshaun Watson to calm down, get right, focus on his targets that should be going to Amari Cooper, should be going to Njoku. Amari Cooper's not going to have multiple, back-breaking drops in a season. This guy's Mr. Consistency. That was very out of character to have that play and have it be so costly for the Browns in that game. I really think the Browns are going to get right in this one. I think that they're going to be able to challenge Jaden Daniels on the defensive end and make it more difficult for him than he's had to face with any of these defenses that he's faced so far. And like I said, that stat, when you're that close to 100, it's 80+% of their first down plays are runs or screen passes. Cliff Kingsbury's going to have to adjust. You can't do that for an entire NFL season. I think it's going to get ugly for him this week. Give me the Browns to win straight up.
Yep. No, I like it, Pat. The one, I like the Browns defense. I think we're in a bounce back situation. Especially against the defense we're going to be going up against in the Commanders. But I mean, maybe this is more so what the Cardinals are. But they had 449 yards on 9 drives last week. I mean, Jaden Daniels is no fluke. Brian Robinson has turned
I'm calling
into
it a fluke.
no, he's not, and it's gonna be on how we attack him, and if we're gonna be able to take care of the ball on the offensive side. It's just you got to give credit to Cliff Kingsbury. I mean, at the very least, about just how well this offense is performing, and I think a lot of the questions fall on Dan Quinn, who's the defensive head coach. And Cliff Kingsbury is looking like he's out coaching him on his side of the ball. So we'll see. I think the Browns defense will come to play. Shut down Terry McLaurin. It's going to be a challenge. I mean, Brian Robinson has looked very good. Jaden Daniels has looked incredible on the ground. Questions maybe in the throwing game. I like the Browns to win it, but that's why it's a 3-point spread.
One thing I just want to say for as far as Washington is concerned, I just want to say that the rookie Brandon Coleman out of TCU, shout out TCU, has started at left tackle all 4 games. And he's looked great. But I do have questions about both of their tackles. I mean, what do you guys remember Andrew Wiley for?
Oh, God.
Anything? Getting smoked by Tampa Bay on the Super Bowl versus Kansas City.
Oh,
he's a starting right tackle.
Yep.
And then they got a rookie at left tackle. So if anything, look at the matchup between Myles Garrett and either of those guys. That's the only way I see Cleveland winning. I'm going to take Washington just because. But I like you said, I hope Cleveland wins this game. I really do.
One more thing I'll say. My patience is running thin with Deshaun Watson, dude. Patience is running thin. I know. I've set out why there are questions. I've set out why there are questions. He's got a burner. He's got a burner, dude. Like
allegedly.
Alleged.
All right,
I've got
we'll move on.
Questions.
We'll talk about that in the coming
Dustin Hopkins MVP.
Dustin Hopkins should not have a job.
This is where Cleveland's at this point.
He should not have a job right now. Let's be honest. He should have been fired.